The great part about GPTs is not the fact that you can create these, but you can actually also use these as APIs. So in the scenario where you want to actually integrate this on your website, you now have the API that you can directly use, right? So GPTs went live last week, and it's super powerful because now you can literally create your own website chatbots or custom chatbots for your own use cases. You can see I've already created this chatbot that specializes in Next.js 13.5, which I found ChatGPT was not up to the mark before this version. But after this, it sounds at least decently accurate. You can see if I go into the edit and I go into the configuration, there is the name, description, instructions that you can now pass to the GPT-4 version or the custom chatbot. All those apps that created a knowledge base of sorts, it's kind of going to destroy all of those apps because you can now directly do all of that in this UI itself. You can see there are conversation starter samples where you can, use some sort of templates in order to start the conversation. And the most important and powerful feature here would be the knowledge, where, for example, you can upload either the data from your company database. So let's say you have a documentation on your API and you want to allow your end users to chat with that data. You can basically upload that documentation here, and it will in real time answer questions from your documentation, which is really, really good. And it can also be accessed via API. You can enable capabilities like web browsing, DALL-E image generation, code interpreter. And you can also add actions, which I'm still exploring, but my idea is that it kind of helps you get these data pointers in real time. Let's say, for example, I want to get weather data in real time, then you can upload a JSON that will specify the request and response parameters. This is a bit more technical in that way. And you can get data in real time from your website. So let's say if you don't want to upload your documentation again and again, you can actually put the link to your documentation here, and in real time it will update the data in the backend. So all of this is automated now. We're going to be trying a simplified version. I'm going to be creating a chatbot for Snappy, which is my own tool for video editing, automatic video editing. I'm going to be trying to create a chatbot for this. Again, I'm not going to be integrating it because this is built out of a no-code platform, so the integration may not be possible, but at least I'll see if I can set up like a chatbot of sorts to answer the questions for Snappy. Like in the future, imagine there will be link to this chatbot where users can go and speak or ask questions about the product, which is really cool. But it's again scary for the startups that kind of built out a whole company based on this, right?
All right. So in order to create this chatbot, you need to go to the chat.openai.com and then click on the explore option.
So let's create a customized version of GPT. So, the minute you click here, it will have like onboarding flow of sorts, and it'll be very straightforward, right? So the first question, it will make a creative who helps me visualize new products. So we are going to be telling it to generate a chatbot to answer questions about my website, which is Snappy AI. It takes a couple of seconds now. Not only will it go through, generation of the image and description and actions, but it will also kind of go ahead and help you name the assistant per se, right? So let's say if this name works for us, we're going to say yes. Now it's generating a profile picture and so on and so forth. In the meantime, while it does that, you can go into configuration and you can do all of this yourself if you want. The only thing that I am interested in is firstly disabling web browsing, because this will literally, confuse the product with some other product, and that may lead to problems. Then image generation is something that we don't need either. Along with code interpreter, we don't need that as well, right? So the only thing we need is to be able to answer questions based on the knowledge base. So I went ahead and, in Chrome, you can basically print out your web page, right? So again, this is for the sample purpose. So you can print out the first page. If you have features or tools section, you can go ahead and print those pages out as well. And then basically feed that to, ChatGPT as knowledge base. And this will, by the time we uploaded this, all the description instructions are already in place, right? So let's go back to create, and it created the image here. Let's fine tune it. Roles. So basically we'll now have to give it roles and what kind of goals GPT should have, right? So I'm just going to quickly type these bits out. So the goal is to answer questions about Snappy and how to use these tools. User will ask questions like, what is Snappy and what can you do with Snappy, pricing and so on. And I'm also reconsidering adding Snappy.ai or maybe web browsing feature enabled, primarily because in cases where it's not able to figure out the data, at least it will go to the website, right? So I'm clearly specifying the website is Snappy AI. In cases you don't find these details in real time, go to the website and look for this data. So once you get these bits here, you can see the questions: what services Snappy AI offers, can you tell me about Snappy AI's latest features, and so on and so forth, which is pretty straightforward for the customers to ask. The only thing that I'm going to do now is going to be enabling the web browsing feature while I put the prompt here. So the next time it's not able to find data in the knowledge base, it will automatically go to the website and figure out where the data stays, right? So in which case, if we post something new on the web page or maybe update a new tool, it'll be easier for GPT to kind of get answers, and it'll be easier for us to not worry about, updating the knowledge base here and there. So I think post this step, what we need to set up is mostly done, and we're going to be naming it SnappyBot. This will help our customers understand what the tool is. There are additional settings here, and you can enable or disable this. If you don't want to share your data to OpenAI, then you can disable this. In my case, because mostly it's public information, I'm not going to be worrying about disabling it. So you can specify tone or styles here. So let's say tone is conversational and friendly. Alright, and with that, it seems the configuration is mostly done. Where it needs more information to answer a question, so we're going to say go ahead and look it up on snappy.ai. If you don't find the info, request user to reach out to support. So if the user is not able to find information, or the chatbot is not able to answer the question, just reach out to support@snappy.ai. And I think post this point, mostly the setup is completed. I don't really think we need to worry about setting it up any further. Let us just quickly wait for it to complete this one last step and then enable it, and then let's try it out. Again, you can go ahead and feed in more information. This is very basic information here. You can upload more files, and I think from that point on, you should be all ready and set to go. Cool. It's now ready. I'm going to save it. And then this is the important bit. You can, enable it for everyone, or enable it for, only you, or maybe people with link. You know what? I'm just going to call it snappy.ai support bot before I publish it. And then I'm going to make it public. Once it's public, we're going to be trying it out as well. Right. Seems it's live. This is the Snappy AI bot, and we're going to be opening this in the second window here. We're going to be asking a question about Snappy in general, right? So let us load. Yep, it's here. So let us ask what is snappy.ai. I have never touched this before, but yeah, it's doing a great job, right? You can see it's answering questions directly coming from the PDF that was generated. And it's pretty cool, right? Because I did not have to go through like a huge setup here. If somehow we're able to kind of, push this out as an open link, then be great. Right now, I think it requires the user to sign up on ChatGPT before it can answer questions. But let's see if, in the future, maybe they make this like an open source link where user can just go and, ask these questions, right? So let's say I ask question about how to use snappy.ai. Let's see if it's able to answer that question. I like it very much because the great part about GPTs is not the fact that you can create these, but you can actually also use these as APIs. So in the scenario where you want to actually integrate this on your website, you now have the API that you can directly use, right? So for all your support questions, and it's very, very cool, right? So, the answer is very straightforward. Let's ask one more questions. What kind of features do you have at snappy.ai? Yep, it's going ahead and answering these questions. These are all the features that we have, so it's very, very straightforward. Again, it's really cool. You can see I am doing all of this merely by having a ChatGPT subscription, ChatGPT version 4 subscription, but I am assuming you can also do it without a subscription, and you can, make these bots public. So really, really cool. I'm hoping you guys also try this out. Thank you so much and have a great rest of the day.